It's cold here in New York City, and for me, that means one thing: warm, comforting soups. So today we have 5 cozy soups from 5 countries proving that soup season is the best season.
Hi Beryl, my name is Zofia and I live in a small town near to Warsaw, Poland. The dish I want to talk about is dill soup. Zupa Koperkowa in Polish. This is a very humble vegetable soup with a special something from the dill. This is not a dish you can order in a restaurant, it is more like a homemade soup. I, just like you, love dill for its freshness. It is very commonly used in Polish cuisine, especially in spring. It feels like a typical dish you remember eating as a child.
We're starting with dill because dill is my favorite herb. You can say that it's a pretty big dill in my life. I have said in the past that dill is the glitter of all the herbs and it gets everywhere. So if you see dill in the next recipes, it's because I just, for the life of me, cannot get it off of my counter.
In my family home, we had a soup every single day. My mom is a soup master. She can make soup out of absolutely anything, and she can make a plain dish so delicious you can hear fireworks in your head while eating. Adding dill to vegetable soup is a way to elevate plain dish into something special. I feel like you can try this with any other ingredient too.
Okay, putting the dill in. This is going to be delicious.
Make a simple vegetable soup and add something extra. This is how you make dill soup, cauliflower soup, sour pickle soup, and many others.
There's so much dill on my counter. I knew this would happen. And like when you rub it, it doesn't really pick up totally. Like, why is it all the way over there? I wasn't even cooking over there. This is at the edge of the counter. I cook in the middle of the counter. Ugh.
Why I think people have to try this? Because soups are healthy, guys. Eat your soup. And take care. Pozdrowienia z Polski.
I'm starting with my favorite herb of all time, dill. I've said this many times on the channel, how much I love it. This soup smells so beautiful. And the house smelled so good while I was making it. That's so good. It was so simple to make as well. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Must eat dill soup. It's interesting because I think that there are definitely certain foods where when you taste them, you can really get a sense of where they are from. This soup is definitely a part of that genre. There is no mistaking this dish for a South American dish or an Eastern Asian dish, like absolutely not. This is definitely a product of Eastern Europe and you can taste that. It makes sense though, because the winters there are really cold and long, so potatoes and carrots are definitely a staple in it. When I lived in Russia, we used to stock the freezer with dill so that over the winter you would have lots of it. The nice thing about this soup is how simple it was to make. You can make it totally vegetarian by using vegetable stock. I just used a bouillon cube, but it's quite interchangeable. Gotta take a bite in between each talking point. And on top of that, if you are somebody who likes dill, the flavor of dill is outstanding. Oh my God, that was a lot. That was a lot. Oh, this soup is gonna be great. Wow, look at all that dill, baby. There is no mistaking that this soup has dill in it. It's got that soft, kind of earthy, herby dill. It's weird, like how do you describe an herb? Because an herb is used to describe so many other things. How do you describe dill? It tastes like dill. I don't know what to say. That was so weird to realize that. If you don't know what dill tastes like, just take my word for it that it's amazing. As many of you know, I've reached a new stage in my life. We're having twins. We are having twins. And because of that, I'm going to a lot more doctor's appointments. And for me, going to the doctor has not always been something that I look forward to. It's hard to get an appointment here in New York City. When you go, sometimes it's really stressful. It's just never been the most fun. But I've been thinking a lot more about my health and trying to do all those checkups that I have been putting off. And to book all these appointments, I've been using ZocDoc, the sponsor of today's episode. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you book in-network doctors so you can find someone that you love. They have more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states. And there are over 200 specialties offered, from eye care to dental care, primary care, dermatological care, you name it, they have it on there, so you can definitely find the doctor that you're looking for. There are thousands of patient reviews online as well, so you can get a sense of how that doctor is, what their bedside manner is like, whether or not you have to spend 20, 30 minutes waiting for your actual appointment time, which is one of my biggest pet peeves. But you can find out all of that with their patient reviews, which is something that I also really love about ZocDoc. But one of the best things about ZocDoc is that you can find appointments fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours, but you can even find same-day appointments, which is amazing because sometimes when you're ready to go to the doctor, you just want to go to the doctor. You don't want to have to be waiting a week, 2 weeks, even more. I recommend you try ZocDoc yourself. Check the link in my description to book an appointment today.
Hi everyone, my name is Ursula and I live in Vienna, Austria, but I grew up in the western part of the country close to Switzerland. I would like to share one of my favorite ways to enjoy oats with you. It's called Haferflockensuppe, which literally translates to oatmeal soup. It's a poor people's dish that probably exists in many countries, and it used to be a childhood favorite for my siblings and I. The preparation of Haferflockensuppe could not be more simple.
I have been shamed by the internet into peeling my vegetables, and I'm curious if you guys think that I should honestly be peeling my vegetables, or if it's just a couple comments that are just getting to me and getting under my skin. I peeled the carrot, but I like the skin usually. Maybe I should just do what I like, but I feel like I'm still learning about cooking, so I don't know. Should I be peeling all these vegetables?
Oats are simply toasted in some oil and then boiled with some stock until they turn into a slightly savory, thin porridge-like soup. You can add all kinds of vegetables or even meat that you might already have on hand if you prepare your own stock. Some people also like to add some eggs and stir them in towards the end of cooking, or even grate some cheese on top. The flavor of this soup is just so perfect for its simplicity. It's hearty, it's nutty, it's slightly savory, but it also has this mellow, almost sweetish flavor from the veggies and the stock. And it just melts in your mouth. It's perfect if you feel a little bit under the weather, and it's sure to get you back onto your feet.
I'm just amazed that this was half a cup of oatmeal or 50 grams of oatmeal, and it made a huge, huge bowl of food. So this really is some bang for your buck. God, the bottom of this is hot. Okay. That is so comforting and delicious, and really is pushing the boundaries of what I think oatmeal can be, because this feels like an entire meal in a way that I don't think about oatmeal. This is so good. The Maggi seasoning on top is really doing a lot to give it that umami flavor that's so nice. I did a mixture of chicken stock and beef stock because I didn't have enough of either of them, but I happen to have both in my fridge from previous episodes. So it has a really rich flavor. You could use vegetable stock. I wouldn't use water because you're definitely looking for that deep depth of flavor that stock is gonna give you when you cook oatmeal. The egg and the cheese have made it so creamy, but it's nice because it's not the type of creamy you get from using milk. The peas give you a little burst of sweetness when you get them, and the carrots are soft but still have a slight bit of crunch, so everything isn't just a soft bite. I love it. It's such a filling and heartwarming dish. For me, this consistency is like a soup/stew. It depends on how much water you want to add to this to thin it out or keep it thicker. It's looking a little thick, and what we're looking for is a soup, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more water to thin it out a bit. My throat just got scraggly. I'm gonna add a bit more water to thin it out. I'm just really digging this. I want to eat the whole bowl, and I will. I will finish this bowl off camera.
Hello everyone, my name is Nehal and I'm from Egypt, from a city called Mansoura. The dish I want to present to you today is a traditional Egyptian dish called Ads Bi-Gebah. The name of the dish means lentils covered or clothed with a gibbah. Gibbah means a robe or an outer garment that is typically worn by Egyptian Islamic scholars that usually come in black or dark brown shades. This is why they are called Ads Bi-Gebah, because the gibbah has the same color as the brown or black husks of the lentils. Ads Bi-Gebah is a slow-cooked tomato-based lentil dish made with diced onions, garlic and chili peppers with a lot of spices, and at the end it is infused with an aromatic oil we called in Egypt tasha, made with fried garlic and coriander.
There are only 2 times that I'll usually have tomato juice. One is on an airplane because it's so good on an airplane, and number 2 in a Bloody Mary. But look at the size of this. There's a lot of Bloody Marys I have to drink.
It's hearty, nutritious and warming, especially in the cold winters. The dish tastes savory and full of spices. It also has another caveat, which is being vegan friendly, very affordable, and is very versatile and accommodates multiple flavor profiles. It can be eaten for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The lentils are basically a vessel for the other flavors, while also giving you a hearty, almost meaty-like feel that is very satiating and filling. Lentils play an integral part in the Egyptian diet since ancient times, and their origins in Egypt can be traced back to almost 4,000 years BC. Lentil is one of the oldest cultivated crops in Egypt. Remains of lentils were found in pre-dynastic sites occupied 6,000 years ago. Lentils were found in ancient Egyptian tombs. In fact, the oldest recipe for a lentil dish in ancient Egypt was written on a piece of papyrus in the 3rd century AD. Lentils are a staple in the modern Egyptian diet and is incorporated in many dishes, the most famous being lentil soup and the Egyptian traditional dish called kushari, previously featured on this channel. This dish, honestly, is very nostalgic and takes me back to my childhood. It also reminds me of my parents. I always think of my mother when I make this dish, as she was the one who taught me to make it. I think people should give Ads Bi-Gebah a try because it is very simple but delicious at the same time. Hope you enjoy.
Nehal said some really interesting things about lentils and Egypt that I had no idea about. Oh my God, that ghee on top. She was right. That's so good. This reminds me of tarka in Indian cuisine, where you also infuse ghee with spices and pour it on top of dal. So it's a very similar. This is like a tomato soup leveled up times 10. The lentils are really nice, to be honest. Brown lentils are not my favorite lentils, but in this soup, they're really, really good. I wasn't sure how this soup was gonna turn out with so much tomato juice, but it cooked down, and it's definitely more like a stew soup than a soup or brothy soup. I do have a lot of tomato juice left, but honestly, I think I'll make this again because it's the perfect cold weather soup. I think the active cooking time on this dish was like 30 minutes. You had to soak the lentils for 30 minutes, but that, you could like read a book while that was happening. But the tomato soup came together really quickly and the lentils cooked in the soup really quickly, which I was surprised by. And I do feel like this will keep really well, and as it keeps, the flavors will get a little bit stronger, which is one of the things I love about a stew soup. A stoop.
Hi, my name is Kamona, but you can call me Mona. I am Jamaican and I live in Jamaica. The dish I want to talk about is fish tea. In Jamaica, we speak patois and English, and fish tea is the same in both languages. Fish tea is a very hearty soup. It has a lot of elements, lots of protein, lots of carbohydrates, lots of vegetables, and of course, lots of pepper, or at least that's how I like it. Fish tea is essentially a very hearty soup. It has a broth-like consistency. Most of the soups in Jamaica are a little on the thicker side. Fish tea is supposed to be a little bit thinner, but has a lot of elements.
I've never washed like a whole fish before. I think I've washed it. I mean, the fish was already pretty clean.
I like fish tea because it is something from my childhood. So in America, when you're sick, chicken noodle soup is the go-to for me. And in the part of Jamaica where I grew up, it was fish tea. with a lot of pepper because it was said that the heat and the spiciness from the Scotch bonnet was supposed to combat that flu and burn it out of your system. Now I make it just for comfort. On a rainy day, I don't have to wait until I'm sick to have it, and that's a treat for me. As far as the taste goes, it's definitely fishy. It's fishy in a good way, and that's your first note, followed by just a medley of herbs and spices, just all the quintessential Jamaican flavors.
Yellow yam. Whoa! I don't know if I've ever cooked with a yellow yam before. This looks like it would be so hard to cut. It just went right through it.
Up until recently, I thought this was really common in Jamaica.
Wow, it's really sticky.
I posted a poll to Instagram on what do you have when you're sick, chicken soup or fish tea. Many Jamaicans said chicken soup. So I've realized that this was very much something that you have in the rural areas.
This is another new vegetable for me, chayote. I've definitely seen them before. How do I cut this? Ugh. Kind of looks like a pear. I just did some research, so apparently this is a younger one, so you can eat it, but the older they get, the skin gets more prickly. I'm gonna leave the skin on. It's gonna live a little.
I grew up in Portland. It's close to the ocean, so seafood was extremely accessible. I love one-pot meals because I hate doing dishes. And there are less dishes to do when you just throw everything in one pot. Plus, a lot of one-pot meals are set it and forget it. You can just leave it there simmering for an hour or however much time it needs to be simmered and come back to a beautiful meal that you can eat straight out of the pot if you want. Or you just grab a bowl and a spoon or a fork and tuck in. There's no specific pot that you need to make this. You just need a nice big heavy bottom saucepan. It just needs to be big enough to serve the masses or big enough to come back for seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths. And make sure you add lots and lots of Scotch bonnet, okay? This is a spicy soup.
So I know that Mona said to make it spicy. I heard it, but I'm like, I have a bag. I'm just a girl, you know, who's not really ready to eat a really spicy soup. I'm just gonna do one.
You need to have the pepper there to burn, to sweat the sickness out of your body. Why should people give this a try? Because it's good. I mean, what else is there to say?
I'm gonna add a Scotch bonnet pepper. One more.
I believe it's one of the unique flavors of the Caribbean. No matter where you are, it always brings you back home. So I would love to share a little bit of Jamaica with the world, and fish tea is a great place to start. Try it.
I had to move this to a smaller bowl because it was too hot. Oh, yeah, there's the kick. There was that extra Scotch bonnet pepper. Mona, I hope you're happy. I got it spicy. Yum. I think what I love about this is that this soup is like, when you're eating it, there's a thickness to it, and I think it's definitely from all of those starchy tubers that went into it. It's been a while since I made a recipe with a lot of ingredients that I was totally unfamiliar with, but this one had a bunch. How do you peel this? Oh my God, come on. What is that? I guess I keep the skin on. It's always really interesting to work with new things because you don't know how they're gonna slice, how they're gonna taste, how they're gonna cook. The chayote, for example, was really surprising, not just because of what it looked like. That looks like a butt. Tell me that's not a butt. But also the flavor of it raw was kind of like pear/cucumbery, but I loved the texture of it. It was crunchy. It's just really crunchy. Cooking the whole fish was another new experience for me. I don't know if I've ever really cooked a whole fish before in my house. Uh-oh. Doesn't fully fit. Get. Have to cut it. And putting it in the pan with all of the spices and then the water, like, it just worked so well. And I love how that water then became the broth for the rest of the soup. Also, taking the fish apart was so easy. Wow, this is so soft. It just was a great experience, one that I was originally quite intimidated by. The flavor of this really is reminiscent to like a zazzed up chicken noodle soup. The Jamaican fish tea mix has some little noodles in it, so there's like a little bit of that. And the spice powder, there's definitely a fish flavor to it that's really subtle and nice. And I totally see what Mona was saying about this being a sick food. Like, yeah, this would cure you right up, especially if it was even spicier. That would clear out your sinuses in a second. Like, if you're ever intimidated by cooking a whole fish, do it like this because it is easy and delicious and like tender. I love this whole recipe. Something I've never made before, never even heard of it, and it was fabulous. So thanks, Mona.
Hi Beryl, my name is Jeanelle Castro. I was born in the Philippines, but now I live in California. The dish I want to share is called Bulalo, which is a bone marrow soup from the Philippines. Bulalo broth looks light, but don't let that fool you.
Bones are not usually used for anything other than making stock, but marrow is a really delicious part of the interior of the bone and something that we should all be using more of, and we're going to be using it today.
By using bones with a bone marrow inside, it develops a slightly thicker soup with hearty flavor. It's from all the collagen and fat that's being drawn out.
You can see it so much more clearly right now. There's the bone, and this is the bone marrow right here. Ooh, it's soft.
In this soup, you'll typically see beef shank, which is meat that's wrapped around a very thick bone that has bone marrow stuffed inside. The highlight in this dish is the bone marrow, so you have to have that. It's served with a side of dipping sauce, which has patis, which is fish sauce, and calamansi, which is a citrus fruit. So we notice there's a lot of bulalo recipes out there that add vegetables in it, but my dad tells me there is no vegetables in bulalo. It's just the beef shank with bone marrow, period. The marrow itself has a very soft and delicate texture.
We're gonna put in a 1/4 cup of fish sauce. I am a huge fish sauce fan. I love the funkiness of it. Not everybody does. I'm curious, how do you feel about fish sauce? Rajat does not like fish sauce, so I don't know if he's gonna like this dish. He probably won't like this dish because of this alone. Jeanelle also recommended that I use the 3 Crabs brand, which is the brand that I happen to have, so that was a happy coincidence. But yeah, fish sauce going in. This is getting loud. I felt like I was talking louder and louder.
When cooked, it has a very rich and oily flavor, kind of like the fat part of meat, but even softer than that. Lots of modern restaurants will take bone marrow, slice it in half lengthwise, and then roast it. They'll serve it with maybe a side of lemon and charge a premium because this stuff is that good. The marrow bones add richness and creaminess to bulalo. That's how you get a lot of flavor into a soup dish like this with relatively simpler ingredients and a light broth color. I've been spoiled with the best soups from the Philippines that use relatively simpler ingredients, but use very slow and intentional cooking methods to draw out all that flavor that we otherwise wouldn't be able to taste. Nose to tail cooking is a huge part of Filipino cuisine. Personally, my favorite dishes include the parts that would normally be discarded, like the offal, snout, blood. I think Filipinos are very creative in finding ways to cook these parts and turning them into the most delicious dishes you've had. Nose to tail cooking is also super important because it allows us to stretch our resources even further, especially in areas of the Philippines where there's a good amount of the population that can't guarantee where their next meal comes from. And also, it's not just that these parts are edible, they are really super delicious.
The bottom of this plate is so hot, but I think that means that it's gonna be perfect for this cold, cold New York City day. Hot soup coming up. I'm gonna go with the broth. That's so good. That is so good. It's a clear broth, and so you kind of don't have big expectations for it, but Jeanelle's right. There is so much flavor in it. Shocking, totally shocking. And the fish sauce is not overpowering at all. I said that Rajat probably wouldn't like this because of the fish sauce, but I don't think he would even know that there is fish sauce in this. I'm gonna have some of this beef shank, which I can cut with my spoon because it's so soft from the pressure cooker. I mean, yeah, like that tastes great. All right. Really though, it's time for the marrow. This is gonna require some surgery because I need to get the marrow out of the bone. This spoon is way too big. I just realized that. BRB, gonna go get a smaller spoon. Okay, tiny spoon. Now I can get the marrow out and have it with the rice. I've never had bone marrow like this. I've had it before when it's seared like French style where they cut the bone in half. Okay, now put some on the rice, get some of the sauce. That sauce is so nice. The calamansi is really citrusy. If you've never had calamansi, it's a small citrus fruit that has kind of an orange meets lime and lemon flavor to it. Heavier on the orange flavor though. It's really good. But if you don't have it, you could definitely use orange juice, I think. Yum, this marrow is freaking good. I love this dish so much. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little nervous because like I'm not the biggest beef eater, so I was like, oh, big piece of beef shank, bone marrow, where are we going? There's no vegetables in this, but we went somewhere good. We went to Flavor Town, as Guy Fieri would say, and this dish is like 10 out of 10. And it's so cozy and packed full of flavor. Wow. It's just shocking. It's shocking when you eat something that you don't really have expectations for. And to be honest, my expectations, I think that were that I might not love it because of what I said, but like eating my words. This is why you should try everything, people, because you just never know what is going to hit. And you might not like something in one preparation, but having it in another preparation, you will love it. I'm leaving a link to where you can buy the bone marrow. This is such an accessible recipe. Like, it's not using any crazy ingredients. You just need the bone marrow. I would highly recommend you guys try to make this at home, especially this winter when it's cold outside. So good, so good. Don't forget that all the recipes are linked in the description and they're on my website, beryl.nyc. Like and subscribe, it helps support the channel. And until next week, I'm leaving you with our cozy winter meal episode and our cookie episode. And I will see you all in my next episode.